level. When we talk about state, we are talking about Telangana. So the world is experiencing significant demographic changes. The global population, which was less than a billion in 1800, has reached to about 7.7 billion in 2019. And now it is projected to be 8.5 billion in 2030 and 9.7 billion by 2050. The global urban population was only 7% in 1800, and it was 16% by 1900. It was only during the 20th century there was been a significant urban growth across the globe. During the second half of the 20th century, urbanization, it has increased significantly. In 2007-8, it was estimated that the rural and urban populations were 3.3 billion each. But by 2018, urban population was estimated to be 4.22 billion and rural population by 3.41. The world today is urbanized. More than half the world population now in urban areas. In 1950, urbanization was confined to high-income countries, let's say like Europe, America, Australia, Japan, etc. But now, a century later, by 2050, if we say, projections indicate that most countries would have more people living in urban areas. Urban growth is expected to take place across all countries of the world, and the growth is expected to continue in the next few decades. By 2050, world's population in the rural areas is expected to be 68%, and there would be very few countries with more rural than urban populations. So the world population by 2050 is expected to be about 9.8 billion, of which urban population would be about 6.7 billion and the rural population about 3.1 billion, which is more than the double. Now let's dig into the urbanization in India. All right. So India's urban population increased from 10.8% in 1901 to 31.16% by 2011. This can be seen in the 2011 census as well. So constituting 1/10 of the world's urban population. India's urbanization with 31.16% in 2011 is slow compared to world's urbanization level of more than 50%. Though in absolute numbers, it is world's second largest. 18 states in India have higher levels of urbanizations, more than the national average. Over the past 50 years, while the country's population is growing by 2.5 times, the urban population is growing by 5 times. The United Nations projections indicate that India's urban population is projected to be 590 million by 2030 and 875 million by 2050. Now, if we see the size classes, in India, census classifies urban areas into 6 size classes. All right. As we can see, the lowest class is size class 6 with less than 5,000 population, and the highest is size class 1 with more than a lakh population. With more than a 1 lakh population falls under the size class 1. All urban areas with over a lakh population are called cities, and those less than a lakh are called towns. So as per 2011 census, there were 7,935 urban areas, cities and towns. So the number of towns and cities have been increasing significantly over the past century. As we have seen in the size classes, the number of cities and towns increased from 1908 in 1901, which is the year, to 7,935 in 2011. So as per the census, most urban population is concentrated in class 1 cities in 2011. Over 60% urban population lived in the 500 class 1 cities and the remaining in class 2 to class 6 towns with less than a lakh population. So, overburdened metro cities and stagnating small and medium towns fall under class 2 to 6. And this is a significant feature of India's urbanization. Let's move on to the metropolitanization. Here, cities with more than a million population are called metropolitan cities. As per census of 2011, 42% urban population in India lived in these cities. The population of the three large 10 million cities in India is about 50 million. 5 to 10 million cities house over 36 million, and 1 to 5 million population cities house over 73 million. Growth of metro and mega cities is a global phenomenon. In 1800, London was the only metropolis, and in 1900, Paris and New York joined the ranks. But by 1950, there were 75 metros, which increased to 281 by 2005 and projected to be 496 in 2019. The growth of metros also characterizes India's urban growth, where 43% population live. 35 metros in 2001 increased to 53 by 2011. An increase of 63% during the decade, whereas the non-metros increased only by 54% during the same period. Cities with over 10 million are called mega cities, and their number is on the increase globally. We have been seeing a rapid increase. The number of mega cities with over 10 million population is on the increase globally. And by 2016, three of which, Mumbai, Delhi, and Kolkata in India. By 2030, the number of megacities in the world is projected to be 41, and Tokyo is the largest megacity in the world with about 38 million population in 2016. India's urban growth is also characterized by the growth of urban agglomerations. The number of UAs, the urban agglomerations, increased from 5 in 1951 to 53 in 2011 and projected to increase to 87 by 2030. One also finds population redistribution towards outlying areas within the extended metropolis. The growth of peri-urban areas with issues of competing land use, environmental vulnerability suffer due to lack of adequate politico-administrative jurisdiction of metros. Let's look into the census towns. Growth of census towns in recent years is a distinctive feature of India's urban growth. They increased from 1,362 to 3,894 in between the years 2001 to 2011. There has been an increase of 186%, while the statutory towns increased from 3,799 to 4,041, and an increase of a mere 6.37% during the same period, and the overall increase in the number of towns was 53.7%. One reason for this growth could be wide variations in the municipalization criteria in the states. Also, census towns population raised by 14.5% of urban population in 2011 from 7.6% in 2001, and present problems of sprawl and unregulated development. This signifies the need for creating the economic base in these towns, which are potential statutory towns in the making. So these towns can be considered as having the potential to generate competitive edge with access to labor in the in around them. There is need for a spatial and small town development strategy to exploit their potential. It is equally important to link development of these areas in the context of skill development programs launched by the central and state governments. These centers have the potential to absorb the large surplus skilled and unemployed labor by upgrading their skill profile under development programs and different skills. There is also need for educational opportunities, both general and vocational, to promote economic development, including industrial. So there is a disconnect between urbanization and municipalization in several states. In India, indicating that all urban areas listed by census reports do not have municipal bodies. Some, particularly the census towns, are governed by the Gram Panchayats. In 2011, only 85.6% urban population in India lived in municipalities, and the rest in panchayats. In states like Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Mizoram, more than 90% urban population are covered by the municipal bodies. And in state like Kerala, only about 35% are covered by the municipal bodies. This has serious implications in terms of distribution of grants allocated by the central finance commissions and under centrally sponsored schemes. Now let's look into the urbanization by districts. So the districts in India are the third tier of administration, and district centers attract large population and investments for business and other activities. But urbanization is not uniform across all the districts. In the states, in the country, and there are a wide variations. And this a study on urbanization pattern of districts in the larger states in 2011 shows that only a quarter of the districts have urbanization is higher than the national average, as we can see. So urban population growth is the result of natural increase, rural to urban migration, reclassification, and boundary changes. Contrary to popular perception, migration contributes only a fifth of urban growth. Natural growth, two-thirds, and the remaining due to reclassification or boundary expansion. The share of rural urbanization migration fluctuated around 20% over a 6-decade period. During 2001 to 11, net rural urban migration was 22%, natural growth at 44%, and reclassification at 29%, and the remaining due to boundary expansion. The reasons for migration are many and varied, like employment, marriage, moving with the family, and others. Studies shows that migrants contribute to the diversity of cultural life of cities, but their right to city is denied in the defense of sons of the soil. Migrants should be recognized as integral to development and included in city development planning. Migration should not be considered only from rural to urban, and it can also be rural to rural, urban to urban, and urban to rural. And the later is called reverse migration, is also taking place with better facilities and rural development. The world was urbanized in 2007 when the urban population crossed 50% mark. 4 billion urban population constituting 54% at present is projected to cross 6 billion by 2050. Constituting two-thirds of global population is expected to live in urban areas. As per the United Nations estimates, urban population growth in India is faster as in several developing countries. The UN projected that the urban population in India would reach 40% by 2030 and over 51% by 2050. We can see the rapid growth. The 12th five-year plan projected that by 2031, India's urban population would be about 600 million. McKinsey Global Institute projected that the urban population would be 590 million, constituting 40% of the total population by 2030. So, as per the report, by 2030, five states like Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Punjab, these states will be more than 50% urban populated. Tamil Nadu and Gujarat are likely to have more than two-thirds of their population. Sorry for the noise. So, Tamil Nadu and Gujarat are likely to have more than two-thirds of their population, with 53 and 48 million respectively, living in the urban areas. Now, the total population in 2015 is estimated at 1.29 billion, with 417 million urban population. One factor is to be remembered is that after 30% growth, urban population growth accelerates, as India Habitat report notes. Now let's move on to the urbanization in the state. We are talking about Telangana. Telangana, 29th state of the Indian Union, formed in 2014, is the 13th populous in the country and fifth urbanized among the larger states in India, with about 40% urban population. The other states with higher percent of urban population are Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra, and Gujarat. Its total and urban population growth trends can be seen. Hyderabad, state capital, with an estimated population of 10 million, and it is ranked fifth in the country. If we move on and see the urbanization in the districts, we see that 33 districts in the state. Hyderabad is wholly an urban district, followed by Mechal Malkajgiri with over 91% urbanization. And Rangareddy and Warangal urban are the most other urbanized district with 68.51 and 57.70. There are five districts along with these, that's Mahbubabad, Medak, Mulak, Narayanpet, and Warangal, rural with less than 10% urbanization, and other five districts, Hyderabad, Mancherial, Mechal Malkajgiri, Rangareddy, and Warangal urban, with urbanization levels higher than the state's average. Now we move on with the urban local bodies. We have talked about the urbanization by district. Now we move on to the urban local bodies. So in Telangana, there are 142 urban local bodies, of which 13 are municipal corporations, and the remaining 129 are municipal councils. Now, if we see the list of towns and urban local bodies by district, the 33 districts of Telangana, the corporations and municipal councils district-wise, it is significant to note that the districts around the Hyderabad metropolis have large number of urban local bodies. And we can also see the details of statutory and census towns district-wise. And in the state, there are only two types of urban local bodies, that is municipal corporations and municipalities. So, in the past, there were Nagar Panchayats, and in 2018, they were upgraded as municipal councils, and as such, there are no Nagar Panchayats in the states at present. Now, we are talking about urbanization, and we see that irresistibly, urbanization is the most powerful, and it is definitely a non-reversible, we say irreversible force in the world today. So in the future, the urbanization is projected to take place in the other as well, that is Asia and Africa. as well as including our India. So, in recent years, there has been a realization that urbanization would bring socio-economic transformation. We are talking about a drastic growth and change in the economic development, along with the urbanization, of course. So, economic growth, development, productivity, all these things can be seen. So, today, urban India with over 400 million population covering a mere 3.1% of country's land area, present complexities where urban densities coexist with suboptimal utilization. Not just the people migrating to the urban areas, we also see the industries developing in the urban areas as well as the few areas in the rural population the industries have been establishing. As noted by the India Habitat Report, after 30% urbanization, urban population growth accelerates. Now, we see there is a development in the urban areas which is attracting people from rural and they are migrating. We see that many employment opportunities are created. We see that many entrepreneurships are created. So, the population in the urban areas has been increasing rapidly. India is in a crucial stage of urbanization and development transformation. And this is the time to capitalize on the opportunity. With many schemes, with many opportunities coming up, which have been provided in the past as well, we see a rapid growth. It is necessary to recognize the place of cities in nations' development and how the cities are becoming an asset to our country. And this is a critical in the new urban agenda. We come up with schemes, we provide opportunities. However, there is also a criteria where we may not notice much growth. However, there is a large percentage of growth that has been seen. Now, it is also necessary to recognize the place of cities, as we have discussed. As per the India Habitat Report notes, we have seen that it is needed in India today is integrated urban policy with sustainability as a core principle, harmonizing agglomeration economies, harnessing rural urban continuum, promoting inclusive development, developing robust urban infrastructure, gender equity, etc. Now we see many opportunities open for everybody in every category, irrespective of gender or anything. Other priorities include universal inclusive governance, access to basic services, poverty reduction, etc. Where there are employment opportunities created, we see a less poverty in the urban areas as well as in the rural areas where the people are migrating to the urban for the opportunities. There are untapped economies of scale requiring interventions in the area of spatial planning and urban landing management. Now, we have discussed the urbanization trends at the national, global, and state level. We should also focus on the growth of census, the metropolitan cities with a million population, and many such things. I would like to end today's session at this point. All right. Thank you. Have a good day. I'm really sorry. Let's see few questions regarding the chapter we have just discussed. Uh, Please follow these questions so that you can have a brief view and a more exposure to this topic. Kindly have a discuss in different size classes of the towns in India. All right, we have discussed about the class sizes from 1 to 6. Please look into that and have a brief information about it. And then let's also see metropolitan trends in India and its urban growth. And then explain the urbanization trends in Telangana. We have discussed a specific state, Telangana, and its urbanization trends, its rapid growth in the economy and urbanization complementing with it. Also have a brief information about the global urbanization trends and urbanization trends in India. Explain the urbanization trends in the state Telangana. Also see what could be the global urban population by 2050, as we have seen the projections. And as per 2011 census, India's urban population is in what billions or millions? Please check that. And see, wholly urban district in Telangana is what it is about. Please refer to the chapter. Look into the census, the statistics. All right. Also see the urban trends changing in the state Telangana. We have seen that from 1961, we talk about the population of Telangana at 8.2%. And by 2011, we have seen a growth in the urban population by 38.7%. Please look into that. And also see the urbanization by districts. Please also focus on the major states in India level in the districts. And please also follow the size classes we have discussed from size class 1 to 6, how the population have been ranging. All right, we say class 1 as the population with more than 1 lakh, and we say class 6, which is having a population of less than 5,000. Please look into that. And also see the urbanization trends following from 1901 to 2011. We said 1901 with a urban percentage of 10.8, and we have seen it increase to 31.6% by 2011. And also see the 18 states, the national average. Please look into the whole chapter and have a brief information about it. All right. Thank you.